Happy Halloween, everybody! Today is Monday, October 31st, and the new transit starts today. The sun has moved into the gate 44, and the Earth has moved into the gate 24. In this transit report, I'm going to talk about the transit that we're in right now that started today, and I'm also going to preview the one that starts on November 6th, on Sunday. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So let's start with the Earth in the gate 24. So the 24 is right up here in the Ajna, and Pluto is transiting the gate 61. So together they create a full channel that is connecting the head center and the Ajna center. And this is in the knowing circuit. And the gate 24 is known as Rationalization in traditional human design and Blessings in quantum human design. Now this is a wonderful gate because as the beginning of the knowing circuit, it is where we're really tapping into superconsciousness, and we are receiving the insights and the epiphanies and the breakthrough ideas that are available to us from the creative intelligence of the universe. In traditional humans design, it's called rationalization because having these really, powerful ideas coming in from superconsciousness, there's a place where you're kind of going, I don't know what I think about that. It's like, this is kind of weird. I mean, in this series that I'm doing on intuition right now, this is one of the ways that we kind of block the actual guidance that is coming to us from our own soul self, from our guides, or from the creative intelligence of the universe, right? We kind of block it because we're like, I don't know what I think about that. I mean, no, I don't really think I'm going to do that. I don't really think I'm going to act on that. I don't really know what to make of that. I think I'm just going to, keep on doing what I've been doing. I'm not going to grow or evolve or anything like that, right? And so we kind of rationalize staying the same, or rationalize putting up with things that don't really work for us, right? Rationalize why it's okay to do, go to a job every day that you hate, right? Just because you're getting a paycheck. Right? Rationalize being in a relationship that is, not working for you. Whether it's abusive or whether it's just not fun and joyful and intimate the way that you want it. Right? We rationalize things away. But when we can tap into the higher expression, what I consider the awakened and empowered expression of the 24, it's called blessings. Right? Blessings. It's like what's coming in is like, oh, thank you so much for helping me to see the world differently, to open up new possibilities, for new breakthrough ideas to come in that help to just chip away my assumptions and my expectations that aren't really getting me what I want anyway. Right? So that's the energy of that 24. Now it is on the Ajna, the green diamond pointing down, and the Ajna is the center really for data storage, it's for analysis. I think of it as kind of the thinking mind. So it's interesting because there's a little bit of a tension between this energy of the 24 that's like, yeah, I'm open to what I can receive from the universe, and the Ajna, which is kind of like, okay, well, we're going to calculate it and we're going to see how it works. It's kind of the computer part of the brain. But even so, both the knowing circuit and the sensing circuit run through the Ajna. So it can't be entirely logical, right? It's not. But it does tend to have that tendency. And when we have the defined head and the defined Ajna, you might feel really different during this transit, because when we have that definition in here, and only about 1 out of 8 people have this definition, it's actually pretty hard to get this defined. It's easier to get the Ajna defined, but to get the head and the Ajna, because you can see there's only 3 channels, right? So compared to some of the other centers that have way more channels running through them, it's way easier for them to get defined, right? So here we want to be looking at, okay, well, what are our tendencies, right? So one of the things might be that defined Ajna tends to think it's certain, right? It has a sense of certainty. But the truth is it doesn't mean it's right just because it's certain. And so you want to check your own sense of certainty. It also can have a hard time seeing other points of view because it's so kind of clear in its own mind about what it thinks. Now, the thing is that the 24 is open to what's coming in from superconsciousness. So again, there's kind of a creative tension here, right? And so you want to be able to open up and receive what's coming in there and not rationalize it away too fast, not, try to lock it into a particular point of view. Be open, be receptive, try to be more flexible, right? So, but you might notice this in yourself. You might notice it in other people where we're having this transit and both of these are defined. So if the people around you start, feeling like they're trying to control the conversation because they're really certain about how things are, you can give them a little space because they have their head and their Ajna defined right now. So we're grounding ourselves, right? Because the earth is lighting up that energy. We're going to ground ourselves in our ability to receive these blessings that are coming to us from superconsciousness, right? So we want to ground ourselves in that. And then the sun is in the 44, which is on the spleen, and it's in the commerce circuit of the tribal circuit. In traditional human design, it's known as energy, and in quantum human design, it's known as truth. Now, because it's on the spleen center, it's one of the fear gates. All of the gates on the spleen are considered to be fear gates. And the fear of the 44 is the fear of the past. What can happen with the 44 is we can kind of get stuck in thinking about the past, in believing the past, in having stories about the past that are disempowering for us, right? Which is why it's been renamed truth in quantum human design, because we want to get to the truth, right? What is the truth about the past? Is it really something we have to be afraid of? Because it's not present time. Can we actually allow the past to go into the past? And can we break apart any of the negative associations that we have that are based in the past, that are controlling our ability to actually be present and to move forward in our lives? Can we break that apart? Can we tell new stories about the past, having new perspectives on the past that empower us rather than, disempowering us or spurring us to try to control situations because we're afraid? The spleen, it is the center for instinct and intuition, the immune system, and right timing. And so it can be very intuitive. It can be positive. But if it's mired in this instinctual fear, then it really holds us back. The sun is lighting this up, and it's kind of saying to all of us, okay, how are you feeling about the past right now? Are you mired in the past? Are you kind of stuck there? Or are you at peace with your past? Or are you making peace with your past? And this is both individual and it's collective, because the sun, right, is affecting all of us. And so you can also be seeing this showing up for other people in your life, right? And looking at, well, how are they relating to the past right now? Are they rationalizing, which is coming from that earth energy, right? Are they rationalizing inappropriate behavior or aggressive behavior or hiding or running behavior? Are they rationalizing that because they have fear of the past? They're stuck in the past, right? That's one way that these energies could work together. But they could also work together by allowing us to be open and receptive to the blessings that we receive once we have made peace with the past. Because when we've made peace with the past, we can come fully into the present, and then we can command the future. But as long as we're mired in the past, we can't do that. We're not fully in the present, and we definitely cannot command the future. Because what we tend to do if we're mired in the past is we take what happened in the past and then we project it into the future and think that that's what's going to happen, right? So we need to break that patterning. Don't do that. Right? So pay attention. This will be a really good time for you to make peace with the past, and to receive blessings about how you can do that, and to let go of stuff maybe that you've been carrying on that back. Just let it go, like water off a duck's back, right? Just let it go so that you can come all the way here to right now. I also want to note that Venus is lighting up the 44, and she will also in the next transit. And so Venus is also an ally for us around our values. And so she's asking us about what are our values that we had in the past, that maybe we have felt stuck in the past. Maybe there are things that we valued in the past that are keeping us stuck in the past. Maybe we need to update ourselves so that we can be present with what are the values that we have now. I know that there were values that I grew up with that I don't hold anymore, or even values that I had when I was a younger person that I don't have anymore, right? I have a new set of values. So this is a time also when you can kind of be looking at that as well. Then on Sunday, November 6th, the Earth is going to move into the gate 2 and the Sun is going to move into the gate 1. Now, both of these are in the knowing circuit, and they're on the G center right here. They're on the bottom of the G center. The 2 is here, and the 1 is at the top of the G center. And this is also energies that the nodes of the moon have been lighting up for months now. Okay, so the north node's in the 2 and the south node is in the 1. And so we've been having this energy kind of beamed at us for months already, but now it's going to be even more highlighted by the Sun and the Earth. The 2 is known as the keeper of the keys, which is the I Ching name for that hexagram. And in quantum human design, it's known as allowing. This is the location in the system of the magnetic monopole, which is what it sounds like. It's a magnet with just one pole that attracts. Okay, so depending on the quality of our energy, will attract different things. So we want to look at this magnetic field that the 2 is generating, and what's the quality of that energy? Are we allowing all the good things that we desire to come into our lives? I think of this as a really receptive energy, right? Super important for all generators and projectors and reflectors, which is like 92% of us. Okay, so for most of us, it's super important. It's important for manifestors too, but they have a little bit of a different deal. Really elevating our emotional tone, the quality of our energy, the level of our consciousness will help to calibrate the energy of that magnetic monopole. And, having worked with lots of people over the last few decades, it's always interesting to me when people do not allow in the things that they want, right? That they actually have blocks to allowing in because they think they don't deserve it, they think they're not worthy of it, they think it'll change them in some way that they're afraid of, they think it'll disconnect them from their families or the people that they love, right? And so they're keeping all of these things at bay. And when I was talking about Venus, in the 44 and the fear of the past, right? It's like, if sometimes people don't allow things in because they're attached to things in the past, right? The values of the past, maybe that their family had, that they grew up with, and they're kind of attached to that because they have this loyalty to their family, and so they don't allow in the new things that are good for them, right? So you might want to check that out for yourself, because I think that this is going to be really highlighted during this transit. Now, the North Node is the energy that we move into really strongly in the second half of our lives. So depending on what your age is, it may not be as prominent, but it's still active for all of us, even when you're younger as well. And it's important for us, if you're a student of the law of attraction, I prefer law of creation to law of attraction personally, but whatever it is, we know that there's a very powerful magnetic force of the heart. HeartMath has been doing studies on for, a couple decades, I think. The Institute of HeartMath, if you want to go check them out. Science-based, but really looking at this magnetic field of the earth and its relationship to the magnetic field, the magnetic field of the heart and its relationship to the magnetic field of the earth, and how do we create brain-heart coherence so that we can bring more of what we want into our lives. So HeartMath is really cool. You want to check that out, and we're grounding ourselves in that energy. So we're grounding ourselves in the ability to allow in. Then the Sun has moved into the gate 1. Well, the gate 1 is right here on top of the G center. And remember that the G center is the center for love and lovability, identity, and direction. Sometimes people call it the identity center because it is the center for identity, but it's really what we think of as the heart, right? I mean, the will center, which is also part of the heart, doesn't have that love quality. It's got the willpower quality, right? And the courage and the value and all of that, but it doesn't have the love like the G center has. So the G center has this love. So the one in traditional human design is known as self-expression, right? Ability to express ourselves. And in quantum human design is known as purpose, right? And so this is one of many places actually in the chart where a sense of life purpose resides. It's great that it comes off of this love and lovability, but it's also, you can see the identity, right? And you can see why it's both self-expression and purpose, because it's coming off the identity center. And the more that we can infuse our sense of purpose and whatever it is we're expressing out into the world, because the sun is really about what we're here to bring out into the world, right? So whatever it is you're feeling in that one, it's going to be highlighted coming out into the world. The more that you can come from love with that, the better it's going to feel, for one thing, but also the more effective it's going to be. Take advantage of this transit to be feeling like, wow, what is my purpose? What is it that I want to express? What makes me feel on purpose? I really like talking about it better that way than saying my purpose is, because I don't know, for me, my purpose has kind of changed and grown and evolved over the course of my lifetime. I think that there's a through line, right? I mean, my purpose has always been about helping us, break through to higher consciousness, right? That has been it. And it's also changed. And what I look for is, what's the feeling of being on purpose? You have just a tremendous amount of energy. You are excited. You feel inspired. You wake up in the morning wanting to do what it is that you have to do, right? That's a feeling of being on purpose. And you have this sense that it is part of making your contribution, which makes sense because it's it's mate here on the throat, which is not defined right now, but the 8 is about contribution. Right? So it makes sense that these two things are really linked. So this is a great time if you have felt a little foggy or unclear about what you feel your purpose is, or what helps you feel on purpose, for you to be leaning into that. And one thing I would say is allow it to come in. Because also remember, this is in the knowing circuit. So this is not logical. It's not rational. It's not reasonable. It's not analytical. It's not strategic. It's none of those things. So don't try to think your way into it. Open up your heart and allow yourself to receive the feeling and the inner knowing that's available to you through this knowing circuit. Okay? Allow yourself to receive it. Okay? You don't try to use your mind, because your mind can't figure it out. It's not what your mind is for. And we've still got Pluto, like I said before, up here in that 61, saying, okay, we're bringing it in. Are you open to bringing it in? If not, we're going to burn it down. You're going to have to rebuild it. Right? That's what Pluto says. So be open to receive it. Allow it to come in through that too. Allow it to generate this sense of being on purpose in your one, right? And this can really help you with your heart, because the heart, a lot of times, our hearts have gotten wounded, right? In so many different ways, right? And part of what we need to do, I think, is we need to heal our hearts, and we need to open our hearts. And when we can allow the creative intelligence to flow into us and through our hearts, and to open our hearts and to awaken us, then we heal a lot. And in fact, you can see that there are 4 different gates that are activated on the heart right now, right? And so we also have the love of spirit, and we also have narrative or storytelling. And so there's a lot that's going on in the G center right now. And just take some time to let yourself feel and love your heart, and to notice what's coming in that way, that you don't necessarily have any rational thoughts about, and that aren't logical, because I think it could help you to really break open your life and step into a new reality. That's my transit report for this week. And I want to let you know that this week I will be opening my my online community, and we're in beta right now. We'll be in beta until the end of the year. It's free to join. It'll be free until the end of the year. And I will be doing wisdom talks. I'll be sharing about human design. I'll be doing some deconditioning practices based in Kundalini Yoga. I'll be giving you opportunities to connect with each other. There are a couple of courses that are in there. A couple of them are free. There's also my signature course, Activate Your Superpowers, which you'll be able to find out more about. That is a paid course if you want to in the community. But stay tuned for me to give you how you can join us. I would love it if you did, because I like getting the comments in these videos, but I sure would like to connect with you more and have a conversation. And I would imagine you'd like to connect with me and with other people who are really interested in human design and in opening and healing their hearts and up-leveling their consciousness and all of that. So that's what it's about. Okay. Many blessings. Much love.